Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Theravada Buddhism series, Dhamma talk number 53. Kamma of speech. Vaci Kamma. The speech or tongue is a double-edged sword. And if one uses with grounded morality and mindfulness, it is beneficial to self-growth and the people around. But if one uses unmindfully with ill intent, it harms everybody, including the user. Good karma accumulates when a speech is gentle, polite, and honest. A wrong speech with a sharp and quick tongue will produce bad karma. Moral and mindful speech always give rise to wholesome, beneficial result. That's why we need to know more about wrong speech. So what are the wrong speech that can give rise to bad karma? Let's call it full suffering producing speeches. In Pali, Dubasita. Dubasita. These full suffering producing speeches are lying, slander, wrongful accusation, and rude and harsh words or speech. Whenever one uses these, they are cutting one with the sword of tongue, bit by bit, into tiny pieces. Praising people who do not deserve to receive honor. And one does it because they were your buddies or relatives or friends or personalities that you like and admired. So you go and praise those people, but they don't deserve it. And also blaming and accusing. Those are praiseworthy. These are dubasita, full wrong speech and actions. How can be full wrong speech in action? Let's take an example. Praising one who doesn't deserve. In other words, you have to lie to praise this person. And also, you are praising it to split between groups of people or between two people. Slander. And also, at the same time, you are accusing the other side. Who is right and correct as wrong. And whenever you engage in these actions, you are full of vigor and anger and deceit. So rude and harsh words flow out. That's why it looks so simple on the surface, praising somebody who doesn't deserve, blaming somebody who truly deserves. But every time, every word is stabbing you back because they are the full suffering-producing speeches. And such person who use these speeches will always face difficulties, problems, and troubles throughout samsara, not just this life, and many lives to come. As long as you don't correct yourself, throughout samsara it will follow. Samsara, cycle of life and death and life and death. Let's look at another angle, from another angle. By using speech, one put down another person who is endowed with virtues and morality. And through speech, one may uplift people who have no moral grounds. Such kind of actions, those people who use those speeches will not achieve progress in Dhamma practice. Even if one is practicing Dhamma, your progress will be stunted. Stop. And also upon death, will never be reborn in the pleasant realms, Sukati, Bhumi, such as human with a good life conditions and devas. Those are Sukati, Bhumi, pleasant realms. The degree or intensity of the bad karma one accumulated or accumulates is directly related to the purity of the morals and ethics of a person that one is abusing. if you abuse, if you accused, if you slander towards a virtuous person who has moral purity, you will have a bigger, worse, bad karma. The same accusation, but the quality of the person differs, and the karma accumulated also differs. Praiseworthy persons must be outstanding or must have outstanding morals and ethical characters. They may or may not have great wealth, fame, fortune, and power. But wealth, fame, fortune, and power alone, without the moral virtues, is not a praiseworthy person. Correspondingly, of course, a blameworthy person has no moral values or ethical standards. This is how praiseworthy or blameworthy is viewed from the Buddhist point of view. Maybe many other groups have the same kind of point of view. It is not a monopoly system. Suppose someone in person asks for forgiveness out of remorse. The consequences of wrong speech may be spared. You see something wrong and you really feel sorry, remorseful, go there and sincerely ask for forgiveness. And if that person forgives you, then your consequences, bad karmas, may even be lifted or spared. But if that person, one had transgressed, already passed away, if that's the case, go to that person's grave and ask for forgiveness, or go to a location that you can identify that location with that person and ask for forgiveness. And if these are not available in your own place, make a special occasion just to ask forgiveness to that person who had passed away, whom you had transgressed. That may lift you up out of the bad karma. But sincerity and truly remorseful is the key. In the scriptures, one can read there, the consequences of accusing and discrediting the noble persons, mainly an arahant. The consequences of accusing and discrediting noble persons is worse than a gambler who has lost his entire wealth, lost the family support, and even become the slave to the debt holder. That's an example given how much suffering one could have to such a gambler. And insulting or accusing a noble person is, the consequences will be worse than that. It's written in the scriptures. So, to make a point of it, let us look into a story, a true story at the time of Buddha. The story of a bhikkhu Sula Kolika. Sula Kolika. Sula is junior because there is another Kolika called Maha Kolika. Let's call it senior Kolika. That's another monk. This one is Sula Kolika, junior Kolika. No relationship, no connection. Just happen to have the same name. Sula Kolika parents donated a monastery for him because the parents are wealthy. So, he was a bhikkhu, doesn't have to worry about the residence, monastery, and also the devotees, everything set in place. One day, Elder Sariputta is the right-hand disciple of the Buddha in terms of wisdom. He was Parnam next to the Buddha. The Elder Sariputta and a group of monks who follows him came near this Kulika monastery. Kolika monastery. On their return trip, so that they can have a rain retreat, in other words, close to Vaci. As the elder wanted to spend a quiet retreat during that Vaci, so he thought, if I spend time at Kolika monastery, I may be able to have a quiet, peaceful retreat. Because if he went back to Jeta Grove where the Buddha was residing, devotees come and go, and if they come, you cannot refuse. You have to talk to them, you have to give Dharma, and so on. But this time, Elder Sariputta wanted to have a quiet, peaceful rain retreat. With that in mind, he let his monks go back to the Jeta Grove. And then he approached Kolika and asked whether he would allow him to have a Vaci at his monastery. And also, not to speak of his stay to anyone. Don't tell anybody I'm here, because as soon as the people heard Elder Sariputta is here, they will be coming in droves. Even nowadays, when a famous, well-known monk, senior monk came, people came out of nowhere like ants. So that is how things are. And the Bhikkhu Kolika welcomed the elder and was so happy and excited that a senior disciple of the Buddha would spend Vaci at his monastery. Then Sariputta spent the Vaci 3 months. When Sariputta was going to leave after the rain retreat, Kolika requested that the elder would stay 1 more day, to which the elder accepted. And then Kolika went around town, talked to the devotees and the public that Sariputta is here, come and pay respect. And when you say come and pay respect and give offerings, end of Vaci is where people donated a lot to the Sangha, because that's around October where all the grains were reaped and sold, have a lot of money, save, use what's necessary, and also donate. That's a time for big donations for people, because that is the greatest income month of the year. So he went around town and told. So of course, the next day all the people came over and donated a huge amount of offerings. But Kolika did it with an angle, because he knew these donations the elder would not take with him, and he will leave it at his monastery. So with that in mind, he was doing this whole scheme. Let's call it a scheme. The people came donate. And at that time, the elder looked at the group, the crowd. Of course, give Dharma talk, give lesson, and also say, solicited donations, any donations, any offering that is being solicited must not be used by any bhikkhus. In other words, monks cannot use any offering that is being solicited. Of course, there's an open clause. Open clause is, if the monk really needs it, he can ask his parents and relatives, close relatives, or the people who sponsor him to become a monk. Those are the only one the monk can ask if he is really in need of a material product. Other than that, the monks are not allowed to ask anything. And if you happen to ask, that offering cannot be used not just by that person, by any monks, if it is known. So that's Vinaya, the rule or the discipline the monks must have followed. So, because of that, devotees took all their offerings back home, and Kolika was left with nothing. So that is the situation, and Sariputta went back to the Jeta Grove, I guess, and then go out for the Dharma tour around. That's more like a tradition. 3 months from full moon day of July to full moon day of October, the monks stay put in one place, practice as much as they can, as much as the condition allowed. And the remaining 9 months, they tour around, at that time in India, on foot, and teach Dharma to all those who would like to hear and practice. not to anybody. They are not allowed to do missionary work. They just show up and show their presence. If somebody wishes to listen, and if they ask, then only one can deliver or teach Dharma. Okay, let's go back to the story again. Later, I don't know, a year later, 2 years later, at this time, the two elders, Elder Sariputta and Elder Moggallana. Moggallana is the left-hand disciple of the Buddha. His psychical power is bar none next to the Buddha. So they are the two most prominent Buddha's disciple, Savaka. They call Agga Savaka. Among the senior disciples, they are the top. And these two and a group of monks who follow them arrive back to the same monastery, Kalika monastery. When they got near, they visited that Kalika and stay there. But this time, the public already know who Sariputta is. They don't have to spread the news. They just know, hey, the two great disciples of Buddha here. So they all went and donate great offerings. And then, of course, the elder has to do the proper Dharma work for the public. And also in there, the elders taught the people one more thing, that what a proper way to donate. A proper way to donate is your offering must be intended for Sangha. Sangha is not an individual, it is a group of monks. In a very precise way, it's a group of noble Arya monks. But as we don't know which monk is Arya or not, so we just collectively take every monk to whom the heads are shaven and the robes are wear. So keep that in mind. There's a distinction, but you don't, or we don't have the power to distinguish between the Arya and non-Arya. So we took all as one. So when you donate a monk, in your mind, you must be intended and focused to the Sangha, not donating to an individual monk. That's a way to donate. So that's what Sariputta taught to the public. And they accepted, they donated properly, and the elder accepted it and divided all the offerings equally amongst all the monks who are in this monastery. Sariputta didn't say, Kalika 50%, the remaining 50 is for the others. Not that way. You say equally among the monks. So the people divided equally for all the monks, so Kalika also get one of the division, one division. And then all the monks left with their donations, because there are many monks, so they can carry, mostly these are robes, like maybe umbrellas, towels, slippers, in today's terms, these kind of things. So they left, and then Kalika was really furious, because they stay at my monastery. The last time you said I didn't even get anything the last time because monk said, you must not be solicited. And this time, all the devotees of the town, which are my devotees, came over and donate. And now it must be to the sanghas. Everybody get a piece of the pie. And I only get one piece of the pie. I was very furious. So angry. I was there. And all the monks left. And because of that anger, he couldn't see right from wrong. All that he felt was he was being ripped off. That's how he felt. My monastery, my town, my devotees, and so on, of course. So, Kalika decided to go to Jeta Grove. Jeta Grove is the monastery where Buddha recited most of the Vaci. Jeta Grove at the Savuti kingdom, to complain about the elders Sariputta and Moggallana to the Buddha. The Buddha already knew. But listen, he told the Buddha that the elders, they are corrupt, totally corrupted. These two elders are. They do not deserve to be called a noble person. They don't deserve to be called an arahant because of these actions. That's how we complain. The Buddha, knowing such an accusation would carry great bad karma, told Kalika to reflect on the events again and see. Not once, not twice. The Buddha asked him to reflect 3 times. For 3 times, Kalika did not withdraw his accusation, stand still, because so angry that he has been, from his point of view, ripped off, unfair, unjust. And then, as he did not withdraw for the 3rd time, suddenly Kalika had a big case of allergic reaction, allergic reaction. As he has an allergy, really bad one, he left the Buddha. And before he reached the gate of the Jeta Grove, the monastery where the Buddhas and the monks were residing, before he reached the gate, the tiny skin reaction grew larger and larger and turned into blister, and finally it became infected instantly. Maybe within 15-20 minutes, am I guessing, or 30 minutes. So he was not in a condition to leave the Jeta Grove, so he lay there near the gate. In the scripture it said, lie on a banana leaf. Whenever the body is in pain, the monks lie on banana leaves. Probably it cushion and it would relieve the pain, I guess. At that time, in the Brahma realm, there is a Brahma called Turu. Brahma Turu. Actually, before he became a Brahma, he was a human and was a teacher of Kalika. He was a teacher. So he felt compassion for his student Kolika. So he came down from the Brahma Ram, appeared before him, before Kolika, and asked him to rethink about his complaint. It will be wise to withdraw because you are accusing wrongfully, and the consequences will be severe because his attachment to his students, old students. But Kolika was unyielding. So finally Brahma left. Can't do anything. He had done all he could. After the Brahma left, Kolika passed away and he was reborn in the Vaci hell, Nariya, Vaci Nariya hell. There are 8 levels of hell in Vaci. One is more severe than the other. And the hell he was reborn is called Paduma hell. And in the story, they give a detailed account how long it could be. It is basically eons and eons of uncountable years that Kolika will suffer there. So that is the accusing, lying, slandering, rude and harsh words. But this one is especially to the highest of all moral purity, Arahant. And that's what happened. So we see now speech or tongue can cut one into tiny pieces with the sword of bad karma, especially if one has insulted a noble person, Ariya. And it is very hard to know who is Ariya and who is not Ariya. Okay? Let us use the right speech, mindful speech towards all people that we come in contact. And that can be done only with mindfulness. As soon as you become unmindful, you can slip. So let us all practice mindfulness inside meditation, and may you be able to escape from all form of suffering as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much.